Hi, welcome to this explanatory movie about the what, who, how. In my previous movie, I explained to you some things about the design challenge. The design challenge is the starting point of your business case. It talks about the problem that you want to solve. Once you are satisfied with the design challenge, you then go brainstorming about the what, the who, and the how. So let me explain to you what this actually is. The what, who, how is your value proposition that you offer to your customer and how you are able to create a sustainable business case around it. You do this exercise with brainstorming. So let me first start off by explaining a little bit about the rules of brainstorming. So a very important thing to remember is that you have to write down only one thing per post-it note, one option, one idea, one name, or one organization. Why is this important? That has to do with the step that you make after brainstorming, when you start clustering the ideas that you have identified. When you cluster ideas, but you have written down several options on one post-it note, it makes it very difficult for you to separate all the options that you have written down. An essential rule that is very applicable to brainstorming is that you should not judge your ideas too fast. Do not think in no's or do not think in yes buts, but try and stay open-minded and positive about everything that has been written down on the post-it notes. Everything is possible. This way you create wild and crazy ideas, and it stimulates a lot of dreams that might be able to turn into actual business cases. And it is a team effort, so do not write down everything without sharing it with your teammates. Tell them what you have in mind, which you've written down on your post-it note, and then the rest can associate on your ideas. Be aware that you should not end up in discussions, so you should stay focused on the topics and create, if it is a little difficult for you to bring everything under words, a visualization of what you want to do. Brainstorming is about quantity and not necessarily about quality. So write down as much as possible. So now that we set the rules, let's go to explain the what. The what is the value proposition that you offer with your business. So it's not just the tangible product that you make, but all the emotional and physical values that are surrounded by it. Let's explain this by an example. Imagine that you are running a business which involves a cow. You have a cow, which is your product, and the cow can offer several things. Several things that can solve a customer's problem and satisfies its needs. And again, come up with as many as possible. So here we only gave you 3 examples, because very logically, when you have a cow, you can produce milk. You can also use its skin for leather, and you can use the cow as a machine, as an instrument to plow a field. The next step that you have to think about is the who. And the who is not limited to just your customer, it also involves all the parties that could benefit from your value proposition, from your what. When you start ideating and brainstorming about the who's, try and remember what sector you're focusing on. Are you a business-to-business company or a business-to-consumer? This can create several options for who's. Going back to the example of the cow, one of the who's that would buy the milk would be young families, parents of young children. A person that would buy the jacket would be motorcyclist, and somebody that would be able to use the cow in their fields is farmers which do not have machinery. When you think about your who's, please make sure that you understand in which part of the distribution chain you are operating. Are you the owner of the cow that sells the milk to packaging companies? Are you a packaging company that buys the milk from a farmer and sells the packaged milk to a supermarket? Or are you the supermarket which buys the ready-made packaged milk and sells it to the end users? This creates a clearer view of who your parties are that you work with and who should be put on the post-it notes. The last step is the how. The how makes sure that your business can be a sustainable one, that you have a constant influx of assets that results from sales, for example, and that can keep your business running. There are several strategies on how to create revenue. The very first and most thought about is direct sales. So, for example, selling your milk. But there are many other different types of strategies to create a income. So when you go through the list, try and see which of these are available or usable for your business case. Let's try some of these business models out. For example, you see in the list the one-for-one principle. A one-for-one principle means that you actually sell 2 products. But with the money that you get from selling 1 product, you can then offer the second product for free. So this is an example of a business model which is being used by Tom's Shoes. So Tom's Shoes started off by making shoes and had the social mission to sell shoes to, let's say, a richer customer segment, which live in Europe and in the North America. And by selling the shoes for a higher price, they are able to produce another pair of shoes, which they can then give away for free to children that and families that are in need of shoes but do not have the financial means to buy them. Another business model which you could use is the razor blade business model. Take this very literally. How do you buy your razor blades? Many companies use the following business case. You buy a handle, which is relatively cheap, and then you need to buy blades which fit that specific handle. And since you are, of course, using the razor blade, you need to change your blades every once in a while. And while the handle is very cheap, the blades are expensive. So by selling 1 product, a razor blade, this type of business case makes sure that you can get income continuously, because every once in a while your customer will come back to buy the blades. This is also a business case which is used by printer companies. Printers are relatively cheap, but the cartridges which belong to them are expensive, and you need to buy them every other month, depending on how often you use the printer. So when you brainstorm about the how, try and see from this list of possibilities which one would be able to fit your business case. Why do you need money? There are several phases in your business case where money is essential. First of all, when you kickstart your company, you would need to have some starting budget in order for you to start running your business. Once you already run your business, you need to keep a continuous influx of cash to cover your costs. And when you are in the phase of growing, you would need a budget to be able to take the steps that make your company grow or even make profit. When you consider the money, try and think about types of income, types of payment methods, and strategies to ensure that you have a sustainable revenue flow. So again, going back to the cow, let's imagine that you are a supermarket and you want to create more customers coming into your shop and have them buy more. A strategy that you can then use is, for example, underpricing the milk. So the customer buys this for a cheaper price, which means that he then has some money left over to spend on other products on your stores. This way, you create a bigger sales from multiple products. So after you've done your brainstorming on the what, the who, and the how, your wall would be full of post-its of possible who's, possible what's, and possible hows. Then it's time to cluster. Try and make 3 business model fits. So try and think of 3 whats, connect them to 3 whos, and 3 hows. This business model fit is a concept that describes what you offer to a who and how you're going to generate money with it. 3 business model fits that we always try and make is a customer product fit, a budget holder proposition fit, and a partner proposition fit. So in that way, you have identified several who's that you need to have in your network and keep happy to make sure that you run your business, and you can identify why these people would want to buy your product or to become a partner of yours. So the next step that you will have to take is create a customer empathy map. A customer empathy map goes into more detail on your customer, your partner, or your budget holder, and talks about their pains, their gains, and the jobs that they need to do. This is something that we will go into in more depth in the next explanatory movie, because when you fill in your customer empathy map, you will get a lot of insights on your customer, your partner, or your budget holder, but it also shows you that there are a lot of assumptions about this who that you need to test. And I will then show you some forms of testing that can give you valuable information, which you can use to see if the what that you want to offer to this who actually fits their needs and solves their problem. Thank you very much for your attention, and looking forward to giving you the next explanatory movie.